Good Monday morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It was
I had a fantastic weekend.
You had a fantastic weekend. I know you
Yes.
did. It was a rough weekend. I actually, away from sports and girl talk,
hmm
my middle granddaughter came into town to visit for her birthday. She turned 7, and so I got to.
That's exciting.
Yes, Ellery Ann Marie got to spend her
The one
birth.
I'm the one I met.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
she's
She
a sweet
turned
little
7.
thing.
Yeah, she was basically 7 when you met her. She would tell people, but now she
Yeah.
is
She's
7.
actually
So,
7.
yeah, she's actually 7 now. So she's already counting down the days till her 8. But it was good. How was your weekend? Aside from sports and girls talk, how was your weekend?
Aside from sports, which is really the most exciting thing that happened all weekend, it was good. I basically did nothing but watch a new TV show. I literally binged it um all day Saturday, and then I worked the car show
Oh,
on on Sunday.
so
So
what show
it
did
was
you
nice.
binge watch?
So it's called Deadly Class. Um it's it's a weird one.
Okay,
It's
I
like
want to watch it. My brain's weird enough.
if you like mafia and serial killers and
Okay, yeah, that
stuff
one.
like that.
I like
I
mafia. I don't like serial killers.
so it's like basically all of these like kids of like these famous killers, not like actual famous killers. They all go to the school where they learn how to be killers. It's interesting.
Yeah,
So I
sounds
bought
like.
on Amazon and binged all 10 episodes. So it's basically 10 hours of episodes because they're all about an hour long.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how you spent your weekend.
And you want to know why I started watching it?
Why?
A cute actor.
Imagine that. Imagine Mikayla watching and seeing something where there's a good looking one.
I literally down because this show came out in 2019 on Sci-Fi, and he I so this this is real girl talk right here. So on Harry Potter TikTok, like the Harry Potter side of TikTok, um, there's there's like
I
this
learn more about you every podcast. I learn more about you. And my daughter absolutely loves Harry Potter. Well,
there's like this casting of a character who's not even actually in the series, but like fans have created this character called Mateo Riddle. And the fan cast or the face claim, basically the actor who like people think would be a good person to play that role, is Benjamin Wadsworth. And so he just kept popping up on my timeline in TikTok. It's been like happening on my TikTok feed for
he's
like
following you.
ever. I wish. Um, and so I was like, you know what? Like, let me just look up this man and see what is he in. He's in a lot of short stuff. Um, but he did this series called Deadly Class with like Lana Condor and I feel like that's the only other popular name on on that series. Benedict Wong, who plays Doctor Strange's friend in Marvel. I'm blanking on his name. Um,
You cracked me up. Okay, so for our listeners, tell me the name of the show again.
Deadly Class, but you have to buy it on Amazon. So I sure did tug send my mom $20 so I can buy the season on her Amazon Prime account.
Love it.
But it
Love
was
it.
good.
That's good. Okay, let's talk about our sports right now.
Oh my God, the reason why this weekend was the
Okay,
best
so
weekend.
this past weekend, this
So,
weekend was rough. So let me
how did your students do?
okay, well, I'm going to kick off with College Game Day, the show itself. Number one, it was off the chain in Oklahoma. Okay, I mean,
hmm
the crowd, the Blake Shelton. all of it, like the whole ambiance of it kicked off great, right?
Hmm.
And my Sooners fell. They were the ones picked. They were picked by pretty much everybody. And
And
they failed. They failed hard and it hurt. Like it, but
yeah,
you know what? I'm
yeah,
good with that because if we lose, we lost at the beginning of the season. So now
that's
we take
true.
we take it to the top. We
That's
take it to
true.
the top. With that being said, college game day, if anybody didn't watch, my Michigan blue, go blue. So Desmond Howard, who is on college game day, who
Hmm.
spoke, who won a Heisman at Michigan, he, for the first time ever, went against his go blue. He
His
went
Michigan
against
team.
Michigan. He was like, and he wasn't disrespect, but and they, Pat McAfee and all of them were giving him a hard time. Like, are you feeling okay? Are you sure? And he's like,
Hmm.
basically like, it is what it is. Michigan won. They
Good.
won. So I don't know if Dez's little going against the grain fired up the team. I don't care. I don't care how it worked. I was really shocked. Everybody was shocked that Desmond did not say go blue. But he's a real guy with real stats and real facts, and he knows his
Hmm.
football. So when he did that, I mean, it pretty much was just like, oh no. So Michigan did win. So my Sooners lost. My number one team
Hmm.
lost. Michigan did win, so that was good. Texas kicked but they played Monroe. Come on. Come on. Come
Hey,
on.
hey,
A
a
win is a
win
win is a
is a
win.
a win is a win is a win.
But we can't really, really
You,
say,
you know what? Come talk to me when your Sooners are number one.
oh, well, yeah. But and I'm glad. I'm glad y'all are number one right now because when y'all get knocked down, that's when all the
It's gonna
tears are gonna
hurt.
that's when it's gonna hurt. That's when I'm gonna sit back and smile. But what ended up happening through all of this is okay, so Prime is with Colorado.
Hmm.
And they've been going through a lot of dramatic stuff. But
Hmm.
this weekend they had a dramatic finish with a Hail Mary in overtime that took the Colorado to the win. That was exciting. So, I like Prime. I liked him last year when we were getting
Hmm.
ready for, so all of that to say Sooners lost. Everybody else pretty much won. It is what it is. But this makes it really hard. Now, I will say, even though my Sooners lost, we are still in the top 25. I can't even say we're in the top 20 now. We're in the top 25 on the AP poll at number
Wait,
21.
s-
At number 21.
y'all dropped like five.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time we lose, we will.
Okay,
Michigan, though,
so
is number 12.
ooh,
And
go blue.
Texas is number one. And
Of
I'm only
course.
highlighting the ones that we really talk about. But
Yeah.
to do the top 10, if anyone
Hmm.
hasn't checked yet, Texas is at number one, Georgia number two, Ohio State number three, Alabama number four, Tennessee, who beat us on our turf at Sooner at Norman, is number five. Ole Miss is number six. Miami is number seven. Oregon is number eight. Penn State is number nine. And rounding off the top 10 is Utah. So,
Utah.
Utah.
That's not a state I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then of course, the
Yeah.
Cowboys. What are we
Hmm.
doing? What are we
Hmm.
doing? You give Dak a raise, he wins the first game and he's lost the next two. Are you freaking kidding me? Like it's so
It was just not a good weekend for your sports teams.
it wasn't. And you know what, though? What did I tell you on Friday's podcast? What did I tell you about Sunday's game? That
But
that it was really hard.
hmm.
Remember that conversation where I'm like, I'm probably not, and I didn't. I didn't watch
Yeah.
it. I kept up with it on my little app
Uh-huh.
because I had grandchildren visiting, but it was more so that I couldn't get beat down by it. It's
Yeah.
just you can only get beat down so many times by your team in a few weeks. My Sooners let me down, yeah, on Saturday, and then you know,
Cowboys.
the Cowboys. It's just like, dude, I'm tired. I'm tired. So, okay.
So I will say real quick before we shift gears into my favorite sport. Arch Manning
Ooh,
started.
he kicked butt.
He
And we,
did. And how I talked about Quinn Ewers having like the headpiece, he was in Arch's ear. And I didn't realize that until after we'd done the Friday podcast. He was in Arch's ear helping him. There were a couple overthrows that Arch did due to Jaden Jaden Blue, I think is his name. His last
mhm.
name is Blue. But they corrected it and they came back and they did fantastic. And he did a great starting for his first game.
Well, the Cowboys, they were losing really bad when they
Hmm.
lost, but they ended up 25 to 28. So it wasn't like we got our butt handed to us.
Oh
It's just
yeah,
a
no.
point of a disappointment. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Whereas
No,
like
of course.
Arch, he took control of the team. I mean, you
Hmm.
could tell he was on fire. He was
Yeah.
like
His team rallied
he
around him and he knew how to lead them and it was very, very nice to
Yep.
watch. And
Yes.
like
Yes.
really
On that
exciting for
burnt
someone
orange
that
though, it's
young.
just
Okay,
I
but
had a lot of friends go,
taking out like the fact that it's UT for someone so young and doing so good as a
yes.
quarterback. That's it's
Yes.
really exciting.
Well, that's what I love about college football. Again, I've always loved that about college football, except
Hmm.
now they get paid to do it. You know what I mean? And I,
Yeah.
I, I kind of go, I understand both sides of it. And so, but I wish the innocence of just playing for the title and the name was there instead of the
Yeah.
the finance.
Yeah.
So,
All
okay,
right.
break it down. Break it down. What went on hockey?
Preseason started. I get so happy. Well, also fun fact, we mentioned it. The Longhorns and the Dallas Stars played Saturday night. It was a whole ordeal. We had the Longhorns on the big screen because my mom was watching that, and I had the Dallas Stars on my laptop, so I was watching both games at the same time. Um, it was really funny. Dallas came and won, which was really exciting. Um, just because that when they play a lot of their preseason games, I don't know if you know this, a lot of like the preseason games are filled with like the training camp rosters. So it's not a lot of like
Mm,
NHL players. So last night I want to say maybe a handful of players from like the 2023-2024 season played last night, like Thomas Harley, Nils Lundqvist, Mush Marchment, just like maybe like four or five. The rest of the roster was filled with the training camp roster, which is really exciting because it's a lot of young new faces that are getting to
mm,
kind of show the coaches like what they can do.
love it.
And two that kind of stood out because I've watched them play and the Texas Stars is Liam Bichel, which I'm pronouncing that name wrong. And then Maverick Bork, which I think I'm also pronouncing that name wrong. Even though they talked about it a lot last night. They looked real good yesterday, so I'm excited to see um where they come and if they continue through the training camp roster and all that. Um, Another thing to note with the Dallas Stars is Matt Dumba played last night. So anyone who is a
Dumbo, is that his name? Dumbo?
Dumba,
Oh,
Dumba,
I thought you were saying Dumbo like the elephant from
no,
Disney.
Matt
Okay.
Dumba.
Okay.
So he has a little bit of a history with the Dallas Stars. So 2 years ago, yeah, it was 2 years ago when he played for the Minnesota Wild. We were playing the Minnesota Wild in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Joe Pavelski, Captain America, who sadly
I love it.
retired and is really upsetting. And I forgot he was not playing last night until they mentioned it on the broadcast, and I almost broke down into tears again. Um, he had a nasty hit on Pavelski and actually knocked him out of the entire series. Like it was ugly. Like you were like it looked like he was gunning for Pavelski. And one thing to know about us hockey fans is we take our players real, real, real seriously. Like those are our guys, and if you put a hand on them, like that's when it gets crazy. Um, and it was a whole thing throughout the Minnesota series, and people were booing, and it was nasty. Um, and so there was a lot of feelings when he got traded to Dallas this past offseason. So he was traded to Dallas. He played last night, and it really hurts me to say he's a really good player. Like defensive wise, like I think he's going to be a really good asset to the Dallas Stars. It just sucks because there's a lot of negative feelings towards him. But I think also we need that on the team. Like we
That's
need
good.
a couple of heavy hitters on the Stars. And I really do think Matt Dumba does and is going to bring that to the team. Now my New Jersey Devils are playing right now as we're recording this. And so I literally have it up as I'm trying to watch it. So I don't have any update on that one just yet. Currently, they're in the lead with the main man, the captain himself, scoring one in the first period, like 3 minutes in. Go Nico Hischier. Um, but I will say they have a player returning called Tomas Tatar, who was a Devil not last season, but the previous season he was traded. He's back. He's excited to be back. The team's excited to have him back. They have a new head coach. They have a new goalie. Like they look like a really good team so far. And what's also interesting about them is that they are going, the coaches and everyone have already said because they're going to Prague to open up the season.
Hmm.
So October 5th, they're playing in Prague against the Buffalo Sabres, which is really, really exciting. Um, and they've said like in the preseason, they are going to be playing a lot of their NHL roster. So
Oh, nice.
these guys have time to warm up and get ready before
Hmm.
heading into the season.
To actual
So
season. That's
it's
good.
exciting, it's nerve-wracking, and I'm just really, really excited because now I get hockey every day. Because
Oh, because of your
Dallas Dallas played Saturday, Jersey played Sunday, Dallas will play Monday, Jersey will play Tuesday, Dallas will play Wednesday, Jersey will play
so
Thursday.
you're in your happy spot.
I am in my happy spot 'cause I
You
get
are
hockey
going to
every
be
day again.
hockey. You are going to be a hockey girl for a minute.
I am. I'm super excited. But yeah, so this is just the start of hockey season. It makes me so giddy.
I know I'm the same way when college game day kicked off and I knew NFL was right around the corner, girl. I love people. I know that I say it all the time. People do not understand the love that I have for the sport of football. I love it, except that it's just really hard to be a Cowboys fan sometimes and a Sooners fan. Right now, it's getting real hard to be
It's a
a
little
Sooners.
rough. It's a little rough
It's
for me
rough.
right now.
It's rough, but I told you, I've shared in the past. I'm loyal to a flaw, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to do what I got to
No,
do.
I get it.
But
Especially
it's
when the
just
Dallas Stars blow a lead in the third period, it gets real rough to be a Dallas Stars fan. Let me tell you that. And they have a habit of doing that. So we'll see if that
exactly.
continues this season.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but me and you're gonna have to get together, and we're going to have to watch a game together with Dallas.
I I don't know if I'm the
I don't
best
have a
person.
jersey. I don't have any. Oh, wait a minute. I actually, one of my girlfriends, her father was a
Hmm.
huge Dallas Stars fan,
Ugh.
and he had season tickets. This is a girlfriend from back home.
Oh my
And when
God.
he passed away,
Hmm.
I was bequeathed one of his Dallas hockey Dallas Stars shirts. And so
Oh,
that was the only thing. And she was a friend that I'd had since seventh grade. So
yeah.
the parents, saw me grow up, raised me, all
Yeah.
that, helped raise me. It takes a village to raise. So
Hmm.
knew me in my worst years and in my good years and all of that. So
Yeah.
that was really a special gift that I treasure, and it hangs in my closet. I very rarely wear it. But yeah, I do have a piece of Dallas Stars clothing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah. All right, well, let's take a message. We have so much on the show today. But let's take a quick message from our sponsor and then we will come back. Texas, it's time to shine. Get registered before the deadline. October 7th, don't delay. Early voting starts the 21st day. November 5th is election day. Head to votetexas.gov without delay or call 1-800-252-VOTE. Let's get you ready to cast your note.
All right, so this next little topic is gonna be our small little mental health moment. Um, and it is covering a topic that uh I feel like is I can relate to pretty well. And I don't know about you, but it is friendship betrayal.
Well, let me throw in let's throw in the little what do we call it? Disclaimer. We are not mental health experts. We are not professionals in mental health, have no licensing. We are two women that deal with various mental health issues like every other woman, whether they admit it or not, deal with. And so we like to talk about it, not to bring shame to it, but to bring name to it and to identify that it's okay to talk about. So if you're listening and you're easily triggered, want to give you a chance to turn off. If you're not, it's good. We just want you to know that it's safe to talk about mental health and different topics. So friendship betrayal, Mikayla. What do you know about betrayal? Let's talk about it
Um,
a little bit.
so I know I wouldn't say I feel like I know quite a bit about it, but um obviously growing up and going into high school, it's hard to be a girl.
It's hard to be a
Like
girl anyway. I mean,
that's
no
true.
matter
Yeah.
middle school, high school, college,
Yeah.
adulthood.
Um, but yeah, no, friendship betrayal, I feel like w hurts worse than heartbreak.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. Friendship betrayal is very hard.
Yeah.
And it does affect women mentally because they wonder what they did wrong. I
Yes.
think that when we, or I know that for me, when I when I feel like I'm building a friendship with somebody, um,
Mm-hmm.
I have expectations. We all do. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Of what friendship looks like. It looks like support. It looks like respect, loyalty, connection. You often hear me say people have more similarities than differences. And when people
Mm-hmm.
can talk about those things, and when you trust somebody like a friend, or someone that you're gaining friendship with, um, that's hard to do. It's hard to share when you've been betrayed in the past. Um, but betrayal comes from a sense of betrayal exists because the expectations of friendship are violated, and maybe the violations were not ever understood. What you and I understand as friendship may not be that of others, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we feel betrayed as individuals when those expectations of friendship are not made. But if those boundaries aren't set, those healthy boundaries aren't set, then in that effective communication, then that's where those expectations of friendships are violated. Um, I know for me, when I find out a friend betrays me personally, it causes a range of negative emotions. Um, for me, it's loss, it's shock because I feel like I'm a pretty good pinpointer of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I get that slap in the face by someone that I trust or thought we were building a friendship and a trust level, it's grief. It's dealing with that. What about you? How does it
I think l- well, I think it's easily described as heartbreak. Like for me, it's kind of like, okay, well, and it's very much of a if you betrayed me this way, like there's no trust, like it's heartbreak. And for me, like, that's the best way to describe it for me is heartbreak. And I'm the person that if you, it's kind of like you burn me once, like you're kind of out of options and
yeah.
I shut down any sort of relationship.
Right. I can say that I used to be that way where I would just immediately shut it down. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, one of the things in my own journey, obviously I'm a little older than you. I like to say a little, I'm a lot older than you, but a little, is for me is that I understand that misunderstandings happen. I understand that missed expectations or missed opportunities happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I will try to forgive if we can communicate about it, if we can talk about it, if we can move forward. But with that being said, the guard is up. The guard is
Yeah.
up so that when that second time happens, I have
Mm-hmm.
no regret about
Yeah.
I have loss. I have sense of loss. I have sense of grief. I have sense
Mm-hmm.
of all of those things. But when I know that for me, I try really hard to be the type of friend as far as there cheering them on, talking. When people share things with me, I don't like gossip and chisme. Anyone that knows me knows that I will talk privately, but I don't like to talk about people because I don't want people talking about me. I think that that is a common respect thing. But friends share, I've had friend betrayals by them sharing private conversations with others. It can be friends not supporting. I've had friends not support me in my times that I needed support as far as at events or, being there in important milestones. Um, I think the worst betrayal for me is when a friend is refusing to recognize or apologize for an action that they hurt me. And then when I address it, then all of a sudden they're hurt or they don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it. And that to me is very one-sided.
Yeah.
Um, and it stinks. I know that I've seen you in the past year have some betrayal of friendships and how bad that hurts. And I think that we all process it differently. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you cut off, you pretty much, that's pretty, once they show you, you're pretty much over it and
Yeah.
done. And I am too, especially if I effectively communicated something.
Well, my
Uh,
thing is it's easier for me to cut off than to continue to feel hurt.
yeah, yeah, no, I 200% agree. And I think a lot of that is, because you and I are kind of built the same way in that mentality. I think that is what's the word I'm looking for? Um, we're protecting ourselves
Yeah.
from
Oh,
further
100%.
disappointment.
100%.
It's easier to cut it off and be done than to give it the benefit of the doubt and then be
And
hurt
continue.
again
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
continues. So I get it. I'm the same way. I mean,
And I have enough disappointment in my life. I don't need it anymore.
exactly, exactly. And unfortunately, um, people don't always see it that way. And
Hmm.
I know for me that sometimes I have to check myself, but I also have to realize that I pretty much know when I feel an energy or a vibe off of betrayal that it's not hard for me because for
Yeah.
me, it's one of those things, like you said, when you show me who you are, I will give you a second chance and maybe even a third.
Hmm.
And because of my loyalty, probably a fourth or a fifth. But when I'm when I'm done, I'm done. But it does affect our mental health. It exists because it affects our mental health because we worry about us. What did we do wrong? Why did they
Yeah.
do this to us? And that's something that messes with our brain. No matter how, and people always say, "Don't worry about it. Why are you worried about that? Or why are you worried about this?" And it's like because it does affect us. It does,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to do good or you really trusted somebody with the
Yeah.
friendship. Um, or being exploited. Um,
Hmm.
that or that you're made to be the bad guy. You know what I mean? That you're the bad one in a situation when you know you weren't. So yeah, mental health is real when it comes to betrayal of friendships. It's a grieving process. I've had to learn. I've over the past 5 years been on a journey, and there's been some long time girlfriends, long time standing girlfriends that I've had to realized that I was holding on for the wrong reasons. I was holding on because of
Mm-hmm.
history. I was holding on because of, but I knew they had betrayed me. I
Yeah.
was holding on because of loyalty. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy. Um, all of those things. And that wasn't helping my mental health because I was staying in it for the wrong reasons. I didn't trust them because I knew they'd go talk.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be around them because I knew that they weren't being genuine. I didn't want to be mean, but it was just
Mm-hmm.
better just to, like you said, sever the ties and just be done with it. And
Yeah.
I'm one of those that once I'm done. And that,
Yeah.
so when I get to that point, I always try to tell my family, my closest peeps, please don't ever take me to that point because I'm not going to be mean, I'm not going to be rude, I'm not going to be disrespectful, I'm not going to be angry. I'm just going to be done because my
Yeah.
mental health can't handle, and I say that respectfully, I can't handle worrying about why a friend betrayed me. If they chose to
Mm-hmm.
do it, they chose to do it. So
Yeah.
what when do you remember the earliest time of betrayal from a friend? Mine was high school. Mine was high school is the earliest that I can remember.
Yeah, I want to say mine was probably high school too.
Yeah, I want to say high school. Junior high, I'm not going to say I was ever betrayed. I mean, you don't get invited to certain little girls' parties or
Yeah.
the dances or,
But I feel like in high school you start kind of really learning like the clique that you're a part of, and you kind of start forming those bonds that are a little bit stronger than in middle school and elementary school. Because I know for a fact I went to preschool, elementary school, middle school with a couple of people. And like we went to different high schools, and I mean, yes, I know them, and yes, I have them on like Facebook and everything, but I mean, we're at this point we're more acquaintances than anything
Mhm.
versus friends, even though like yes, like I spent a good chunk of my life with them.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was you that I was talking to one day. It may have been, and you can tell me if I did. But I was listening to a podcast one day about friendships and expiration dates on friendships, and how we kind of outgrow friendships, and or the friendships look different in different seasons. Where it's friends that are running the streets together and then one gets a boyfriend and then gets married, and so then they're not on the same pages no more and things like that. But what the way it was talked about on this podcast is you don't have to it's like going on a bus, and there are people in your life, there are friends in your life that are in the front seat. They are in the front row of this bus and on the road trip of life. And when those friends maybe are growing apart or going
Yeah.
different ways or whatever, they get pushed to the middle seat because then the people that are in your work day-to-day life things, those are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are moving forward. So you really never, unless there's a fallout or something, you never really have to have the friendship betrayal. You just have to
Yeah.
realize what seat they're in. Are they in the back seat now because they're friends and like you said, they're acquaintances, so they're on our social media? Okay, well, they get the back seat. They're the ones that they only get to see what they get to see. They're not riding in the front with the snacks and the Dr. Peppers and the Cokes of the road trip, right? They're
Yeah.
they're they're not on the day to day. Um, but yeah, it's a hard topic. I know that betrayal is a big thing for many people. Obviously, everybody should always take that into consideration, but it's also one of those things that it feels like um, you should be able to save friendships and not sever them if you can through effective communication. And if you can't, you can't. But at least if you try, then when you go to sleep at night, you know that you did your best.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
left to say to that. And then real quick, before we go into this next part of our podcast, just another quick word from our sponsors.
Are you looking to grow your business and increase your brand visibility? Become a sponsor with the Girl Talk Sports Talk podcast. Our sponsorship opportunities offer you a unique chance to connect with our dedicated fan base and community. Let us help you elevate your business name and reach new heights. Contact Melina or Mikayla today to learn more about how you can get involved and make a lasting impact. Join us and watch your business thrive. So I'm super excited about our special guest this week. Mikayla, meet Mirza.
Hi.
Mirza, meet my partner in crime on the podcast.
Hello.
Mikayla.
Hey, Mikayla. Thank you, Melina.
Thank you. So before we get started, I'm going to give everybody the Mirza's badass background and bio before we talk about what she's joining us for. So Mirza is a dynamic entrepreneur and the visionary founder of Coastal Bend Restaurant Week. With a background in business development and marketing, Mirza began her career as the director of new business development for Pearson Lighting Design in Miami, Florida, where she orchestrated corporate events for Fortune 500 companies and the United States Air Force. Mirza's journey then took her to Dubai. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. United Arab Emirates, where she founded Al Thulathi
Lati.
Thulathi International Relations and Events. This venture focused on trade and development within the Middle East, earning her numerous awards and recognition. Mirza also played a pivotal role in the marketing and business development of Cityland Group and Cityland Mall in Dubai. Returning to her home state of Texas, Mirza has continued to make significant contributions to marketing, tourism, and hospitality through her consulting company. She is a driving force behind Coastal Bend Restaurant Week, an event that celebrates and supports all the local restaurants. When she's not working, Mirza enjoys spending quality time with her son, Noah, traveling and giving back to her community. Welcome, Mirza. I'm so glad to have you on.
Yes,
Thank you
welcome.
for having
I'm
me.
really excited because I love food.
Oh,
And
girl, it's stacked right now. We're in day 2 right now, and our refrigerator is stacked with leftovers. It's
and I will
crazy.
say I've actually never heard of this. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, so we are in our 4th year actually for Coastal Bend Restaurant Week, and it's been quite a journey actually, but it's taken off. I think more and more people are learning about it. It's funny, most of the people that actually are into Restaurant Week are people that are not typically from Corpus Christi or who are implants into Corpus Christi, believe it or not. So it's we're
I
finding that
believe it.
it's our largest audience, believe it.
Good, good. So tell
That's
us
crazy.
about why you started Restaurant Week or what made you come up with Restaurant Week here in the Coastal Bend.
So Restaurant Week was actually it was 2021. It was supposed right the year right at when COVID happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the restaurants had shut down. So I had a local restaurant actually that approached me to kind of look at their marketing and kind of invite people back because people were very hermit. They were at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so try to figure out and distinguish a way to bring them back into the restaurants because they were either getting to go or they were not, I mean, they were just not, people were not coming to eat anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, so one of the things is like, okay, well, where my background lies is in corporate events, and in events is what I do and what I do blindly in my sleep, read it, live it, everything around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes back. So backstory is that I actually sat on the board for the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. This is way back in the heyday, and during that time, they were just commencing actually Restaurant Week Miami Beach. So it was something that was actually pretty spectacular, but it was in large cities. It was so now moving forward in here in Texas, they had Houston is the biggest one, followed by Austin now, and Dallas is still kind of taking off, but it is relatively big. So when I went to do my research, there was nothing here in the area. They had like smaller ones, like a smaller food celebrations and whatnot. They had and I believe they had one for downtown as well, but not an official, actual proper restaurant week. So I presented it and it was actually declined. So I ran with it and I was like, well, it's a great idea. I'm going to do it. And here we are.
So how do you choose your restaurants? How are the
So,
restaurants chosen?
And can I
so,
be a part of this committee next year?
oh no, for sure. So, girl, we need all the help there, like all the help in there. But it's like now, yesterday, literally, I caught myself. I'm like, I need to go to the gym. Like, full stop, need to go to the gym. Um, but yeah, no. So to be part of it, basically, it's we open it to our restaurants. So our restaurants do join for it. So it's not something that particular we haven't offered it to local is a big thing. We haven't offered it to chain restaurants to that extent. But yeah, it is open to every restaurant, not just in Corpus Christi, but across the coastal band. In fact, we have some promote them in Sinton currently. Yeah.
That's
So
exciting.
okay, so have you had any restaurants that have been with you since the inception of Restaurant Week?
We
And if
have.
so, can you give those restaurants a shout out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like huge thanks to the Harrison family, and they have actually grown. They've had
Mhm.
added on Mariner since then. So last year they launched the Mariner actually during Restaurant Week, and it was quite a hit. Um, so yeah, we had Docs as well as one of our big favorite bands.
I love dogs.
Yes,
Mhm.
Doc's always been very, very supportive. And there's quite a few on there, honestly, that have just been, Cavalier's Kitchen, which is out in Sinton.
Hmm.
Uh, believe it or not, they have joined us. And then last year they stepped out, and then people were like, hey, how come they're not on the menu? And this year they're like, no, we're back. And they ran back in. So we're so happy to see them back in. But yeah, I mean, we have quite a few, but we definitely have to give thanks to those three.
Any all types of food? Is that what it is? All
It
types,
is.
all
We have everything. So this year, the only thing we didn't have, and this is our first year actually that we've had a Mexican restaurant, which blows my mind because we're in Corpus Christi, right?
Yeah.
So we had not had a Mexican restaurant on Costa Bend Restaurant Week until this year. So last year we were supposed to
Interesting.
have one in there, and they dropped. And then this year actually we had Kiko's. And if you drove by Kiko's last night, girl, it was jam packed. We could not find parking, and it was great to see it. So I do drive around and I look and see how busy they are. I'm like, don't tell me you're not busy. I drive around and kind of see what's going on, but it made my heart really happy to see this restaurant thriving.
That's good. And I will say, because I peeked at the list, Full Send Barbecue, I will talk about them all the live long day. I love that place.
I don't even
It's
know that place.
It's downtown. They used to operate out of the backside of Goldfish, which is a bar. It's a nice
Hmm.
bar.
Hmm.
And then they got a food truck, and now they have like the land, the lot next to it. It's they still out of a food truck. It's still like very small. It's the owner and then like two or three other people that work it. But it is so stinking good. They have a brisket mac and cheese that is absolutely to die for. It's probably one of my favorite barbecue places.
I might have to do that this week. I might
yeah,
have
so
to.
we did. We hit up Hogemeyer's for lunch on Friday.
Oh,
So
so good place. That's a good
so I
place
had
too.
never been actually, so it was quite impressive. So you drive by it, but because I'm so far out here, it's like okay, going
Hmm.
down that area. So I was so yeah, it was quite impressive, and just to see the decor and the ambience inside and whatnot. His staff was just excellent. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well,
So
good.
I guess kind of what do they present a menu to you, like, or do they
So
just kind of come up with
yeah,
it, or?
so the whole idea behind Restaurant Week, I'll kind of give you the background behind where it started. It actually
Hmm.
started out in New York City. And the idea was that come summertime, well, you go out, your vacation, you're eating. So the
Hmm.
tourists, or the restaurants are really, really busy. The moment the kids go back into school, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Everything is quiet. So the restaurants are kind of like, okay, well, we need to make some money. So in order for them to serve the economy, they actually started out Restaurant Week.
Wow.
Uh, and it was actually a very big deal in New York City. And it served the economy so much. It's now like Restaurant Month. So they did the same thing actually in other larger cities, DC, Miami, and so forth, right? And so that's the idea is to bring people into the restaurant. So unlike other festivals, it's not about you going to one location, trying everything. It's really about you coming into your chosen restaurant that you would like to see. So
Hmm.
they select the menu. It's set at a price point or a great deal, basically, to kind of entice you, remind you what they
Hmm.
have available. Um, and so you get to see again, kind of there's places you've forgotten about. You're like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and try that, right? And then you go, you try it out, and that's the whole idea, is to kind of bring new people into the restaurants all over again, and to bring people from locally into it as well. But yeah, it is phenomenal. But the thing is, like this year in Corpus Christi, so Corpus Christi is a different nature.
Oof.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
Miami.
Girl, you're not telling me nothing I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, it's
it's its
not.
own beast.
Yeah, it is. So we have to improvise and think a little bit differently than, for example, having your Miami or having your
Yeah.
your DC restaurants and whatnot, where you really select like really, I mean, really expensive diners, basically.
Yeah.
You know, so here the idea is that we have to start talking about like family meals and things like that. So this is where the family meals come in, and some of the prices that are out there are crazy, but that's the whole idea. So we have to kind of speak locally and really here in the areas focus on the local market. But it's phenomenal. It's been
That's
really, really
insane. And is it every city is the same week? So like right now, like
cool.
is it happening? Okay. So
Yeah,
they
so it just
all
kind of
select
depends.
different.
Yes. So Houston just finished out theirs actually. They started at the end of August.
Oh,
And
okay.
they started the end of August and they go through September. And in Miami, if it's not happening now, it might be happening soon because then they have art based and things of that nature. So it kind of just on your
It
own.
depends like what's going on in the city at that time.
For us, it's really easy. I have always left it at, I mean, at the last week of September,
Yeah.
uh, just to make sure that it's just easy for people to remember, our restaurants to remember, prepare as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It is very cool.
So, what are you going to eat this week, Mikayla? Every day you're going to go out and try a new restaurant?
Shoot, I might. There are some restaurants on here that I'm like, wait, we have this here?
Girl,
Like, what is this? Like,
yeah,
I'm
the Republic of Texas joined this year. And
oh, that's a
Wow.
yeah,
fancy place. I only
yeah.
go
So
there
it
if it's
is
like
it's a three-course meal for $65. Like it's
That's pretty good.
yeah.
that's pretty
That's
good.
really good. That's very good. That's very good. Very good. So tell me what is the biggest challenge has been with Restaurant Week?
There's quite a few actually. I mean, that's like anything. At the end of the day, it's the organization of it. Now, because we are very seasonal, we start our season actually up in April. So we start preparing for it in April and getting the
Oh
restaurants to
wow.
kind of blend. Believe it or not, my biggest challenge is always getting the menus in and getting the
Mm.
restaurants to just to
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 decide
order,
what,
uh,
yeah.
Price
and
points
they're
and what
busy.
food? Yeah.
Well, think about it. We start organizing in April. We start advertising it, and they kind of like, okay, but then they start getting busy for their busy season. They're just coming
Mm.
out of busy season, right? So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's into the event season. So so I get it. But yeah, that is probably the most challenging. This year, we've been very, very lucky actually that we've had quite a few influencers kind of show up and donate their time and their talents, and we are super grateful for that.
Well, very cool. Okay, so if so, y'all do have your own website? Restaurant Week has its own website?
We do. It's Coastal Bend Restaurant Week.
Ooh,
Ooh. And do
easy.
y'all have
Nice
a
and
Facebook
easy.
page?
We do. CoastalBendRestaurantWeek.com.
Very good.
Oh,
Very
the
good.
website is .com and just Coastal Bend Restaurant Week or Facebook and Instagram.
Any special hashtags you want people to use to identify it?
It is always going to be CBRW. Just we are keeping it very simple.
I like it.
CBRW, Coastal Bend Restaurant Week. You
I
can't miss
like it. I like it. I like
it.
it.
Very nice. Well, I for one am very excited.
Yes, well, and Mirza, we're gonna have to have you on again to talk about. I'm gonna have to sit down and talk to you about Dubai, man. That sounds
Oh, that is
like
yeah, that is bring your
I have a
drinks.
passport. I have a passport. I do have a passport.
No,
But
completely. It is amazing. It's one of those places that you can honestly do in about a week's time. I'll be very honest, but it is a place that you definitely have to go once in your lifetime.
oh yeah, I
I
see
bet.
it, and I'm not a big traveler. I'll be honest. I'll be the first one to say I'm not. But there are certain places in the world that I see that I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to figure
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
amazing. It's a great place.
Well, good. Well, Mirza, I want to thank you. I will definitely be supporting Coastal Bend Restaurant Week this week. I think it's an amazing. I know you're big in the community like I am, and it's an amazing thing when we can give back to our local. A lot of people don't always understand that we can complain about things or we can find solutions and we can
Right.
figure out ways to work together where everybody wins. And Coastal Bend Restaurant Week is a win-win, in my opinion, that the community is winning, the businesses are winning, the community as far as the people, the businesses as far as the restaurants, you as putting together this, it's just everybody wins. There's no one losing in the
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, no,
And I think that that's what builds strong communities. I know it's been going on 4 years now, and I know it started out really small as a little mustard seed, and it's growing. And so to know that you have some of the top names on there says a lot about you and your work ethic and your way to give back and really grow it, to let businesses see how they can help give back by just
just
changing
showing
it
up,
just
you
a little.
guys.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just showing.
Our restaurants are really, they need all the help they can get right now. And believe it or not, we have restaurants that just in 1 week's time make the amount of money that they would make in a month.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and this particular year has, I would even say that it's a little even harder than COVID
Mhm.
because there's no
Mhm.
help. You're
Yeah.
doing it on your own, and the economy is taking them, the rise of food.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, just be out there because it's we need all the help we can get. So support local 100%.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us
Yes, thank
today.
you.
We appreciate it, and hopefully we can get you back on afterwards to see how successful it is. I know this week you're going to be super busy with everything that you're doing, driving around, checking it out, eating places, reminding people, visiting the clients. So we wish you nothing but continued success on this amazing week that you put together. And you let us know what you need from us, but I can't wait to hear the results and how big it turned out this year.
Thank you,
Yes.
Melina and Mikayla. I appreciate your support. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
You
All
too.
right.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Mirza.
thank you, Mirza for coming and speaking about Restaurant Week here in the Coastal Bend. But that is all the time we have for today. So as always, if you like listening to our desolate tones, first thing in the mornings, Friday and Monday, we have Spotify, we have YouTube. We started an Instagram.
We did, and you know what? We started an Instagram, and this is a PSA, but we
Mhm.
started our Instagram, and we actually had our first uh, uh, follower share our podcast by a local
Yes.
candidate that is running for Congress. And so I thought that's really cool. Girl Talk,
That is
Sports
really
Talk,
cool.
especially if that person wins. If that person wins,
Yes.
then that'll be really cool. That'll be a part of our Girl Talk, Sports Talk history, is that the very first IG tag was
Yes.
by this person. So super
Yes.
exciting. So yeah, we are going, and you know what it means after this. We got 3 more shows before we go live. We're gonna have to be cute so that people can see us and see how we really act
Mm-hmm.
in front of each other. Um, and for those listening, that will be on October 4th, Friday morning, October 4th will be our first YouTube that drops with actual video. And that is, as the universe would align it, Texas OU weekend. That will be podcast number
Yes.
20. That will be Texas OU weekend. I'm hoping the Longhorns are not number one at that point. I hope they fall before then. But if not,
It's
I
gonna be real
will.
entertaining.
So, all right. Well, that's all we have for this. Make sure to tune in. Always listen.
This is Mikayla,
This is Melina.
and always sports are for girls too.
Whoop whoop.